Okay, so the next thing that we did in class is beading in a circular pattern, which is for a rosette. And the class will be responsible for 4 sets of rosettes, four rows within the rosette. The pattern I use most often, my first row is 1 bead. My second row is 6 beads. Each row after that goes up. So I have 16 beads. And then once I do the 16 beads, I usually go up by 8 beads per circle, sometimes more. So we're going to start with the simplest part of this pattern is you start with your 1 bead. You slide that 1 bead all the way down, and you put your needle through right where you started, and your first bead is just tacked down. You make sure that you pull it nice and tight, and then you want to bring your needle back up close to your bead where you started, and you pull it through. So I'm using different colors so that you can see this each row individually. So the next part is I put on my 6 beads. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I slide them all the way down. To the edge. I'm going to take my needle and run it through all 6 beads. I'm going to make sure that I keep them close to the edge as I'm pulling down and making my circle. And I'm pulling that circle nice and tight. As you see, it's a nice little tight ball. I'm going to take my thumb and I'm going to take that circle and push it over that bead, just like so. So I'm going to take my needle and run it through the cloth, and I'm going to tack that first one down. I'm going to come up through my thread at the opposite end, so at the opposite end I'm going to come through my circle and I'm going to tack it down. So normally I hold this down with my thumb, but I want you to be able to see it. So, and you see it pulled it right down. Now, I'm going to come up. I'm going to show you again. I'm going to come up through the middle and I'm going to run my thread on the opposite side so that I tack it down. And I'm doing this on each of the 4 corners. So I tacked it here, and I tacked it here, I've tacked it here, and I want this in a perfect circle. So I'm going to come over here sorry, my thread came out of my needle. So I'm going to come over here to this last side. Again, I'm going through the circle and opposite end. I'm making sure that I'm tacking down the bead by going over the thread so that I have my perfect circle. I'll bring my needle up on the outside. And I'm ready for my next row. So the first row, 1, 6, 16, and 24. That is what you are responsible for in class. If you want to add the 32 and keep on trying, this is how you would do a rosette. Practice as best you can at home. You can do a bunch of little circles if you want, but you have a whole sheet to practice. Thank you.